It's the end of October. Must be time to finally talk about winter tyres. Actually, it's coming up to the end of October and it's still really warm outside. It's 20 degrees here in London today, but the papers are promising, as they do every year, Snowmageddon's coming. So let's think about winter tyres. First up, I'm going to remind everyone what winter tyres are and why we should consider fitting them. Winter tyres are sometimes called cold weather tyres, which is an excellent name for them, and sometimes called snow tyres, which is a really bad name for them. Winter tyres are designed to work in all wintry conditions, not just snow and ice. Tyre companies say anytime the average temperature is below 7 degrees, that's the time you should consider swapping. There are three main types of winter tyres, but most of us will only be shopping for one, and that's the European winter tyre. This is the only tyre really suitable for the UK and Central Europe. The other two types of winter tyre is the Nordic studless winter tyre, and the studded winter tyre. These tyres excel in snow and ice, especially the studded tyre and ice. It's insane. But they're not suitable for the UK climate. They give up dry and wet performance in trade-off or in hunt of that snow and ice performance. So while these tyres are exceptional in the snow and ice, don't think about fitting them in the UK. How do these magical things stop your tyre becoming a sled? Well, there's three main ways winter tyre works. First up is their compound. They have a softer, more elastic compound, usually with a higher proportion of silica. What this does, unlike in the summer tyres, as the temperature drops, it allows the compound to retain elasticity, which allows the rubber to key into the surface, which is one of the main ways tyres generate grip. Summer tyres get all cold and hard and frigid, and they just can't grip as well into the micro pores on the surface. Secondly, they have these wide up, more open tread patterns, which are designed to pack in snow. If you've ever made a snowball, you'll know how much snow likes to stick to snow. That's one of the principles that these work on. And third up, they have these thousands of tiny little cuts called Cept. Cept are cuts in the rubber that allow the tyre to have more edges to push through whatever's over the surface and generate grip in the surface below. It's kind of like how an ice skate works. What does all this magical technology mean? Well, it means if you fit a winter tyre in the UK, you're going to be safer for most of winter. If it snows, your car's going to be an unstoppable juggernaut. Oh wait, no. It'll be a stoppable juggernaut because you'll have grip so you can stop. Either way, if there's a car sliding down a hill on the summer tyres aiming right at you, you'll appreciate the extra ability these tyres give you because you'll be able to gracefully reverse out the way and watch them slide on by, probably in a big 4x4 on ultra wide summer tyres, and you could just give them a smug little wave. Bye. So if winter tyres are that magical, why don't we just run them year round? Well, there are some drawbacks, namely dry performance, especially dry braking. A winter tyre will always stop about 15% longer than a summer tyre in the dry, no matter what the weather, and that's largely because of the Cept. It's a compromise we just can't fix at the moment with current technology. The other drawback is, especially for more powerful, heavier cars, is you lose steering feel, precision and handling. So the car will feel a little bit softer and jelly. The trade-off is you get improved levels of comfort and lower noise levels, but if you like driving, it's not going to be the best feeling in the dry. If all this is a little bit too much to get your head round, we do have all-season tyres. Now these are tyres that can be left on year round, but they do still have a little bit of dry compromise, which means they're not the best for bigger, powerful cars. So if you've got this far in the video, you must be convinced you want some winter tyres. So next up are going to be my top recommendations for the 2018 winter season. But before I go into that, please consider hitting that subscribe button down there. I really appreciate every subscription. It helps me continue to make these really exciting winter tyre videos, or any tyre videos, as long as people keep watching them as well. I guess that's important. But yeah, please subscribe if you have the time. It'd really mean a lot to me. First up, if I was feeling lazy, it would be a very short video because these two tyres are probably the best in class. It's the Continental TS860 and the Continental TS860S. Both these tyres from Continental have such an all-round breadth of abilities in the dry, wet, snow and ice. I actually recommended the Continental TS860 as one of the all-season tyre recommendations. It's just that good. While the TS860 is designed for the smaller cars in the 13 to 17 inch wheel size bracket, the TA860S, which replaced the TS850P, these are confusing names, Continental. This is probably the best UHP tyre, and it's probably the tyre I'd fit to my M3, or I will fit to my M3. What they've done with this tyre is maybe reduce the snow abilities ever so slightly over the outgoing tyre, but dramatically increase the dry and wet grip. This is really important for sports tyres, so if you're looking for a sporty winter tyre, this is the one. No tyre is flawless, so what are the drawbacks of these two? Well, it has to be price. The TS860 in the popular 205/55 16-inch size is £74, while the TS850P in an 18-inch, not this tyre, the older version of this tyre, is £112. So they're not the cheapest on test. In fact, they're the most expensive of the list. Next up, I've got another duo of tyres to recommend. We've got the Goodyear UltraGrip 9 and the Goodyear UltraGrip Performance Generation 1. Like the Continental, this is designed for the smaller size, this is designed for the bigger size, and like the Continental, as you'll find with a lot of my winter tyre recommendations, these are an excellent balanced performance tyre. That means they don't excel in snow, they don't excel in the dry, they don't excel in the wet. They're really, really good in all three categories. They're not a one-trick pony. And for the UK winters, where we spend most of our time in the dry and wet, I feel like this is a very important thing for a balanced winter tyre. The good news with these pair is they'll save you a little bit of money over the Continental as well. The smaller 16-inch size is about £8 cheaper than the Continental at £66, and the larger UltraGrip Performance Gen 1 is about £6 cheaper than the larger Continental. So not quite a bargain because they're not the cheapest tyres here, but they're a very good tyre for the price-performance ratio. Next up, the Hankook Winter Cept RS2. This is a new winter tyre from Hankook. Saves a little bit more money over the Continental and Goodyear again, and it's testing really well. Mark my words, Hankook will be the next tyre manufacturer, or the first tyre manufacturer to break into the premium 6. And this will probably happen in the next few years. Hankook are pushing it that much. If you were to level one criticism at this tyre, it would be the rolling resistance. It has a slightly higher rolling resistance than the other two tyres on test in the same sizes, but it's quite a bit cheaper. £16 a tyre cheaper than the Continental, and over a set of 4, that's nearly £70. You can forgive a bit of extra fuel usage for that, can't you? Next up, the Vredestein Wintrac Pro. Vredestein used to be known as the king of winter tyres maybe 4 or 5 years ago with the Wintrac Extreme range, and since the Wintrac Extreme S, the latest iteration of the tyre, came out quite a long time ago, it's kind of fallen from graces. But could this be a triumphant return for Vredestein for winter tyres? I really hope so. This tyre is so new, it's only been featured in one test, and I know one test doesn't make the tyre, but this won the test convincingly. Again, like the others, it had a breadth of all-round abilities, but was particularly sporty and strong. So this doesn't come in smaller sizes, but this is the one for the bigger, sportier car if you don't want to spend all the money on the Continental TS860S. Last up, I can't do a winter tyre recommendation video without talking about Nokian. They did, after all, invent winter tyres, and they were based up in northern Finland where it's really cold and chilly. The Nokian WRD4 is the snowmaster of the group. So if you're planning on seeing a bit more snow and ice than maybe most of the UK, this is the tyre to consider. This comes in the smaller sizes and generally seems to be testing well in 16 inches and below. It doesn't seem to do as well in the larger sizes. So this is one for the smaller car that you want to see a lot of snow with. There's a couple of other honourable mentions that I need to make that I can't quite film here, and they haven't been in test, and that's mainly the Michelin brand. Michelin make excellent tyres, but they've just released the Michelin Alpin 6 and the Michelin Pilot Alpin 5. Now the Alpin 6 is the smaller tyre, the Pilot Alpin 5 will be the larger one for the UHP and SUVs. Both these tyres have yet to be tested, so I couldn't include them in the video. I've got no experience with them, but they're going to be excellent winter tyres. The other option, again from the Michelin brand, is Kleber. They've got the Krisalp HP3. I think I've got that right. This tyre represents quite a bargain, and it's been testing really well this year. So definitely look at that one if you can find it in the UK. I couldn't. So that's my top car tyre recommendations for winter 2018. Let's look at some SUV tyres. SUV winter tyres normally have quite a resemblance to their car counterpart, and sometimes it's just the name that's slightly different, but they are designed to take the higher loads and weights of a big SUV vehicle. First up, I've already talked about the Goodyear UltraGrip Performance Gen 1. Well, that comes in an SUV variant too, and the Dunlop WinterSport 5 SUV is its sister. Both tyres have very similar performance qualities, which are, can you guess, they're a real good balance between dry, wet and snow performance. So these are the tyres I'd be looking at initially. They're not the cheapest on test, but they're not the most expensive either. So shop around, they can be quite a good performance bargain for winter SUV motoring. Next up, would you guess it, is a Continental winter tyre. Can you see the pattern forming? This one's the Continental WinterContact TS850P SUV, but they have released a TS860S in SUV sizes. As with the other recommendations, there is an excellent blend of dry, wet and snow performance and has been testing really well in the last couple of years, so definitely another one to check out. It is, like in the car stuff, more expensive than the Goodyear, so definitely shop around / look at tests on tyre reviews to see the balance of performance between the two. And next up for SUV, the Snowmaster, the Nokian WR SUV4. This is the latest, greatest SUV tyre from Nokian, and like the road tyre, it's really strong in the snow. They did invent winter tyres, so this is the one. If you plan on seeing a lot of snow, this is the one to look at. So that covers Central Europe. What about the Nordic parts of Europe? Well, I'm not an expert in those conditions, but I have been through the test and I have got a little bit of experience myself. And for the Nordic climates, There's again 3 brands, you're going to see this on repetition, that are definitely worth looking at. First up, in the studless Nordic winter tyre, you've got this, the Nokian Hakkapeliitta, the Nokian something R3. This is again, like the winter tyres, this is one of the king of snow. The other options are the Goodyear UltraGrip Ice 2 and the Continental WinterContact 7. Again, all 3 of these tyres are test winners. They're all pushing the boundaries of studless winter tyre technology, and for snow and ice without studs, they're incredible. When we're getting to studded stuff, this is even further out of my realm of expertise, but I do keep myself up to date with tyre knowledge. You've got this, the Nokian Hakkapeliitta 9, I think I said it. Oh, I'm never gonna say that again. The Nokian Hakkapeliitta 9. This is one of the latest, greatest studded winter tyres from Nokian. You've also got the Michelin Excise North 4, which claims to have the most studs of any winter tyre that's ever been produced. The Continental Ice Contact 2 and the Goodyear UltraGrip Ice Arctic. These are the studded winter tyres that most people are fitting. And there you have it. That's the end of my winter tyre recommendations. But wait, there's more. As you've probably noticed, and I'm going to keep reiterating this point, there's no budget winter tyres in this list. Why? Because I don't want you crashing into me the second it rains. Budget winter tyres can be very, very good at one thing, like snow and ice performance, but as soon as it rains, they tend to fall apart and cars become skates. So don't think about skimping on winter tyres. Make sure you fit a premium or a solid mid-range winter tyre, not a budget winter tyre. It's a false economy. And that's actually it. Yay! I hope you've enjoyed this video, or at least found it a little bit useful. As always, if you have any tyre questions, please ask below, because I really like talking about tyres and everyone in my life now refuses to speak to me about tyres because I just go on and on. So feel free to ask me any tyre related question you could possibly have below, and I guarantee I'll give you some sort of answer. If none of these tyres tickle your fancy, there's thousands of more tyres on the Tyre Reviews website, so be sure to pop over there to do further research. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to continue supporting me to keep on making these crazy winter tyre videos, please subscribe to the channel somewhere about here. If you'd like to watch the all-season video I mentioned earlier, you can click somewhere around here. And also, if you're a real tyre geek, follow me on Instagram, it's tyre_reviews. I'll link it below. Thanks for watching, and as always, safe motoring. Are you warm there, little guy? You're good for winter. I hope things are nice.